Imagine hating immigrants in the US so badly that you are willing to bring the US economy to its knees in order to make their lives impossible. You see, yesterday, a new federal law went into effect in which 200,000 people with commercial licenses that are truckers, transport goods all over the US, keep the US economy flowing, are now going to be out of a job because they are going to now lose their licenses. So that means that people who are asylum seekers, DACA recipients, immigrants with TPS are now unable to have those licenses and to be truckers, basically, right? Now, as that story said, this is going to make prices go up in absolutely everything. Why? Truckers are essential to the US economy, to goods getting into supermarkets, grocery stores, Costco's, Walmart's, every other product you can imagine, all over the US. I think 70% of goods in the US is transported by truckers. So let's analyze the situation, right? Prices are gonna go up because of this shortage in truck drivers, all because Trump hates immigrants and wants to put almost 250,000 people out of a job overnight. Aside from that, gas prices have also skyrocketed, okay, because of the unnecessary war that nobody asked for, that Donald Trump is waging in Iran. And as I've said before, gas prices going up also means the price of everything else going up, because just like with truckers, everything depends on the price of gas. Mix those two things with the tariffs, right? That also made prices go up. The Supreme Court struck them down, but the economy doesn't recover from one day to the other from stupid policies, right? Now, I would love to ask MAGA, are we great yet? Are the prices of X down? Is gas down? Is everything down? Is the economy just wonderful for all of us? Like Trump said that he was going to change this overnight, right? With a magic wand. Is everything better?
And it's interesting because the reactions from the Cuban people seem to be very split. I'm Cuban. And remember, they were very MAGA, very Cubans for Trump, and I have a good amount of family members that are MAGA. And you see comment sections like this, where you can see that they absolutely adore and worship this man. Es enfermizo. He can do no wrong. And I mean, I needed the reminder, honestly, because we get in our own little echo chambers and we think, oh, everyone must see how awful and horrific this man is. And I really needed that wake-up call of no. Out of every 5 people, at least 2 are going to be MAGA. Out of every 10, at least 4 are going to be diehards. So no, it's so interesting because they genuinely think that they are the silent majority. And I can't think of another situation where the minority is actually holding, oh wait, what am I talking about? I was going to say holding people hostage. You mean like the billionaires that are the minority, the tiny minority holding everybody hostage? Yeah, no, there's several examples of that. I'm going to shut up now.
So liberals are so concerned that Trump may go into Cuba and liberate and free the Cuban people that have been under communist rule for 67 years. Yeah, they're very upset about it. Let's take a listen to Cubans in Cuba asking Trump for help. You ready? Let's take a listen.
Por favor, Trump, te necesitamos. Ahora toca Cuba. Eres el único con cojones en el mundo para darnos la libertad. Venezuela libre, Irán libre, y ahora por Cuba libre.
Yes, what they're basically saying is, please, Trump, we need your help. You're the only president with the balls to help us, basically is what they were saying. And they said, you freed Venezuela, you freed Iran, free Cuba. They're begging for help. Now let's listen to this Cuban American talk about his family's experience in Cuba and his gratefulness for Trump. You ready? Let's take a listen to this.
I feel elated. Fidel Castro killed my grandfather's father, my grandfather's brother, tried to kill my grandfather. That type of life, imprisoning people, it's not a way to live. Thank God to Trump, right, and Trump's policies.
So you heard from Cubans in Cuba, and you heard from a Cuban American, his family's experience. Now let's listen, if you could watch Greta Thunberg talk about her concern in Trump and Cuba. You ready for this? Let's take a listen to this.
We need to talk about what's happening in Cuba right now. As the Trump administration is waging illegitimate wars across the world, killing countless of people, it is also strangling the Cuban people, deliberately, methodically, and openly. The pedophile Trump himself bragged about it, saying there's an embargo, there is no oil, there's no money, there's no anything. He said it like it was something to be proud of, while millions of people have been plunged into darkness by rolling blackouts, while hospitals lose power, while ambulances run out of fuel, while shelves go empty. The United Nations has warned of imminent humanitarian crisis. Intensive care units and emergency rooms are compromised. Newborns, the elderly, the sick, all paying the price.
Funded, scripted, but where's hair and makeup? That's the question. Greta, worry about your own country where you were born. Stockholm, Sweden, because your country, Sweden, has been overrun by a certain group of people. So worry about Stockholm, Sweden. Worry about Sweden and let Trump take care of Cuba, because I'm sure the Cuban people know what's best for them, and it's Trump.
They told us this policy will make things better, but for 1,000 family and the red just went out. Right now, the massive federal crackdown is stripping the residents away from the immigrant trucker who keep our country moving. At the same time, across the water, Cuba is facing the total energy collapse, bankrupt, a shortage, and humanitarian crisis fueled by the very broken some of cheered for. Today we are looking for the hard truth. How did we end up supporting strategy that destroy our livelihood in Miami and starving our family in Havana? In this time, we'll talk about the real cost of royalty. Let's dive in. So before we continue, I want to give a credit to all original creator of TikTok clips used in this video. All clips belong to their respective creator and used here for commentary, news report, and education purpose only.
As a former DACA recipient, this is making all sorts of alarm bells go off. So a new federal rule that's going to go into effect on Monday is basically mandating that approximately 200,000 truck drivers are going to lose their licenses, their CDLs. How this will happen is their CDLs will effectively expire and they won't have a chance to renew them. What's interesting is that the admin is targeting very specific immigrant groups: asylum seekers, refugees, and DACA recipients. I read a bunch of comments underneath this article from people saying like, oh, this is amazing because it'll get illegals off the streets, even though this is clearly targeting people that have status. So that doesn't really matter. The dissonance is not the problem here. And what I want to focus on here is DACA specifically. DACA for the past 14 years has been a lifeline for people like me, dreamers, people that came to the States when they were kids against their better judgment. I actually left the US 4 months ago, and I've been back for the past 4 months in my home country of Poland because fucking hello. And I've been saying for a long time now in conversations with family members and loved ones that I think there's a decent likelihood that DACA will be targeted during this admin in some way beyond the ongoing litigation. I've also said that there's a good chance of Republicans trying to basically kneecap the program even more than it already is. And look where we are now. The admin is claiming that this is about highway safety and lost jobs, but no, bullshit. This is so much more nefarious than that. This is about stripping people of their ability to support themselves little by little, making life as uncertain and as miserable for them as possible. I don't know about you, but does that remind you of anything? They're starting with trucking, and trucking is a pretty easy target if you think about it. People see trucks on the road every single day and don't really give it a second thought. They don't really fully grasp how vital trucking is to the U.S. economy. They just assume it's something that happens automatically, kind of like breathing. So my question is, what profession will they go after next? Because I hope we can all think critically enough to see where this could go. Like, what profession will they claim to have been overrun by illegals and that it needs to be taken back? Teachers, lawyers, doctors? And all the while, Trump is ignoring the industry that he has the biggest stake in, hospitality. And that obviously requires a hell of a lot of immigrant labor. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm really not. But this is really starting to look like the early 30s where Jews were effectively barred from working in certain professions. This is just what this feels like. And picking on DACA and asylum seekers is easy. Trump supporters legitimately don't know the difference between all these various groups and what their status actually means. But the problem is that Democrats also don't really know the difference between a DACA person or an asylum seeker or a refugee. They just don't know. And that's what makes this so fucking dangerous. I'm concerned about some sort of cascading effect. Seriously. So DACA holders, please Brace yourselves for the worst and hope for the best. I used to be DACA. I know what it's like. It sucks. Big time. Just please take care of yourselves and please stay vigilant.
Anything to fit y'all bullshit ass narrative. Y'all forgot to put illegal in front of immigrants, like always. Anything to fit y'all narrative. Why are y'all like that? Y'all the real sellouts. Y'all are brainwashing millions of people. And it's like, I wonder if people are ever gonna wake up to this, because it's been years of being brainwashed and it's already installed in them. It's unbelievable. I'm just so glad that we won by a whole landslide. A lot of people are no longer brainwashed. Y'all a whole bunch of sellouts. And I pray that my people wake up for real, because this is embarrassing. It's right in your faces. Whatever you feel that Donald Trump said that was crazy, go back and watch the entire videos. Do you know that even on the left news media, they edit and they put this orange filter? This is why all of them, oh, orange man, orange man, orange man. Yeah, like y'all here talking about orange man, this, orange, and y'all don't even know that he's dead, not even orange. Fake ass CNN, ABC News, all of them make him look orange. That's how you know a party's full of shit. Why do y'all feel the need to lie to the American people? This is bogus.
Donald Trump cancels the licenses of immigrant truckers. Now, why is this important? Because when you read the Bible talks about famines coming to pass throughout the earth. Now, you have wars that are going on throughout these countries where oil prices are going up, gas prices are going up, the cost of food is going up, and now you have this right here. The Lord is lining it up to where prophecy is going to come to pass, and all those that don't believe in the word of God, you're going to see how real the Bible really is. Trump's cancellation of licenses for immigrant truckers takes effect. Around 200,000 people will start losing commercial licenses under a federal rule that takes effect Monday, a move that could mean higher prices for consumers. And people aren't paying attention. You got people going to Daytona Beach. Everybody want to turn up, have a good time, but you're not paying attention to prophecy, what the Lord is bringing to pass. Pay attention. Now let's jump to the point. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. This is what we see with America and Israel going against Iran. You have China and Taiwan, Russia and Ukraine. This is what's happening in the earth. This is Bible prophecy. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And the Lord is lining it up perfectly. But again, nobody wants to pay attention. Everybody's caught up in sin, breaking the commandments of God, not paying attention to what's coming to pass. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So the prophet Ezra is seeing this in the spirit in these last days, and this is what we are seeing now. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So the Lord allows these things to happen in the earth so the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, we can get our minds right. That's why these things are coming to pass. So we can turn our minds back to the Bible, fix our lives according to what the scriptures say. That's what these things are happening for. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So like I mentioned before, a lot of our people are not paying attention, understanding that the Lord allows these things to happen so we can repent. We can seek the Lord and change our ways. But God said we're not going to be mindful of the wickedness. A lot of our people are going to continue in fornication. They're going to continue following ungodly holidays. You're going to continue to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You are going to continue to be evil, and the Lord is going to bring judgment.
So inflation is already high. Gas prices are going through the roof because of the Iran war. And now the Trump administration had a brilliant idea. Let's remove 200,000 truck drivers from U.S. roads, because there's a new rule taking effect today on who can hold a commercial trucking driver's license in the United States. Under this new rule, you basically need to be a U.S. citizen, a green card holder, or someone on certain non-immigrant visas that allow you to legally work in the U.S. But here's who's getting pushed out. People with work permits. That includes DACA recipients, people who've been here almost their whole life, TPS holders, people who've been here for over a decade, asylum seekers, and others who have been legally working and driving trucks for years without any problems whatsoever. When their licenses expire, they can't renew them now, unless they become green card holders by then. So what happens when 200,000 drivers are off the roads? Less drivers means less trucks on the road. Good for traffic, but there's not enough trucks to move all the goods. So goods will move slower. And when goods move slower, shipping prices go up. And when shipping costs go up, everything gets more expensive. Food, clothes, electronics, pretty much anything that arrives on a truck. So here we are complaining about inflation, and we're taking 200,000 trucks off the road, all who are competing to move goods. It's already very expensive to live here. Basic economics. You don't have to be a genius to figure this one out.
So I think you're going to see Trump and the GOP push up the Cuba takeover timeline. They are running into a lot of issues with the Strait of Hormuz that is not going the way they want. Allies are not coming to their rescue after the Trump-Netanyahu war started. 13 military members dead. So they need a win. They need a win. A little while back in January, they cut off oil delivery to Cuba, which now just experienced a statewide or nationwide blackout. They're just getting the power back on right now. But the president of Cuba has said that they are open to discussions. They have dropped restrictions on Cubans living in Miami from investing in businesses in Cuba. However, it appears that the current administration says that the president of Cuba, the current president of Cuba, must step down before negotiations will continue. I would expect this will be one of those things that it's not Iran. Cuba's, a small island off of Florida. And based on what they're doing right now, it does look like there will probably be like a change in administration there in Cuba. And again, Trump badly needs a win of some type. So having Cuba being more amenable to the United States and releasing some of that hostilities, he could use that as a win to kind of say, like, look what a grand deal maker I am, while we continue to pay a shit ton of money for gas and food, and that's only getting worse, and we're losing military in the Middle East. But it will be a win for him, and he will take it as a win and say, look what I did, I removed this evil dictator. And the Cuban president and some of the things that have happened there are not good, just like Venezuela and Maduro, and they'll use it as a win, because they need it. They need that, good PR for sure. Marco Rubio will be ecstatic. Trump will start looking at creating resorts in Cuba as soon as humanly possible. But for the people of Cuba, it may actually be a good thing, depending on who gets put in place. Anybody that Trump and the GOP put in place, I can't see it being significantly better for them. They'll say it's going to be great. However, you're looking at people who will be tied deeply to the oligarchy. And we know that that's not really going to go the way of normal people. So, yeah, it'll be a change. It'll be a change. We'll see if it's a change for the positive, for the better. Okay? All right, thanks.
Oh, brother. Man, this whole non-domicile situation, for the people that haven't been involved, just because the rule started yesterday, man, it's been blowing up, dude. Non-domiciles are trending. So what does that cause? It causes a lot of awareness, right? It causes it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. A good thing because now a lot of people that didn't know what was going on now are getting a little bit aware of it. But it's also bringing people like this. Check this out.
It is unbelievable what's been happening in trucking, and these are people who are not in our country legally, who have not had their asylum cases adjudicated, and DACA recipients, people that also cannot pass English-speaking tests.
Sometimes I ask myself why I keep making these videos and why I'm so repetitive, and this is why. It's amazing to me that you got people like her. I kind of went into her profile. You guys are welcome to go see that video, dude. It's so full of bullshit. These are the type of people that pretty much go and they do these videos on news, right? So they'll go and they'll read 3 articles maybe, and they'll go in and feel so confident. They feel so confident that they could go and speak on a fucking topic that they never heard about. So they go and they read 3 articles or 4 articles, and then they go and they make a video and spread a bunch of lies, a bunch of bullshit, and then people believe it. People believe it, and that's the reason I do this, man. It's so infuriating. Fucking bullshit. And I'm gonna tag you too. I'm gonna tag you in this video so you can see my shit. If you're gonna do a video on something, do some deep investigation. How are you going to tell me? I have DACA, by the way. I have DACA. If you do see this video, I have DACA and I could pass any fucking English test. I could challenge you to an English test. I could challenge you to a spelling bee test. I could challenge you to the American citizenship test. Hit me up. Let's do it. You know? You don't say that we can't pass the English test. God damn. If that CDL test would have been in Spanish, maybe I couldn't pass it. But this is so infuriating. So I suggest you take your own advice, which is this.
It is things like these where us as citizens, you have to read through everything, read between the lines. You can't take things at face value anymore.
And to that, I completely agree with you. You can't just fucking go and see something. You can't just read headlines. You gotta read deep. Do some true investigation. If you're gonna call yourself a journalist or whatever it is that you do, a journalist from Timu or whatever it is that you are, at least do some deep investigation. No, we're not here illegally. Yes, we do speak the language. No, we are not overstaying our visas. Yes, the DMV screwed up, government screwed up, and we're paying the consequences. So before you go out and say some more bullshit, man, it's just I suggest you to go do some homework. On another note, this is how bad things have gotten. The same way they're saying that there's fake news for Democrats, there's fake news all over the place. Because it turns out people really think that they're only taking out people that don't speak English. Look at this comment right here. People really believe this. And this is the reason I do what I do. Because it's like, damn, dude. I've gotten to the point where I get messages like, man, you're always saying the same shit. Well, so what? If that's what it takes, I'll do it. And it is what it is.
Your favorite president has done it again. He's making prices for Americans go up. Getting rid of over 200,000 truck drivers is ridiculous. Think about it. Your packages already show up slow. It's already hard to get equipment and goods moved from coast to coast. There aren't enough people joining this industry. So now, because he's cracking down on immigration, he's going to, again, inconvenience us to make himself look good. But the people who support him, they're going to champion this for whatever reason. But then when the Amazon package show up late, they're going to be mad. This shit is ridiculous. We need truck drivers. And these people are here legally. Make it make sense.
So at the end of the day, politics isn't a game. It's about to real what the consequence that don't care about your party line. When the truckers stop moving and the power will stay off, we are the one left picking up the pieces. But I want to hear from you. Are these policies actually protecting us or are just being played? Is the FAFO elder finally hitting too closer to home? Drop your comment below. Let's have a real conversation, even if it's hard. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more updates.